Authorship is one of the most essential aspects of any critique of entertainment. But of course, there is always a gray area when it comes to authorship. Today, I want to talk about my viewpoint on authorship and why I think it matters far less than people suggest. Typically, when someone is discussing art, we always talk about how the author intended to do this. Authorial intent is an interesting lens to view a story, but I don't think it should ever be limited to that viewpoint. People will make an argument and discredit other arguments, saying that the author intended it this way, so that has to be the only concrete meaning of a particular text. And of course, that's a fair argument to have, but I don't think it should be the only argument. An interesting essay on the subject is Ronald Barth's essay, The Death of the Author. In that essay, Barth argues that authorship is something that we need to take away and empower the reader to create meanings for a text. Barth also argues that meanings for a text should never be limited, and that we should always be trying to expand the amount of readings of a text that are possible. But there are some issues with this perspective. Removing authorial intent away from a piece of media can reveal new meanings. Take an Edgar Allan Poe story, for example. If you go into the story knowing who wrote it, you're automatically going to think in a specific way and how dark that story could be. But if you knew it was anonymous, then your reading could be completely different for the text. However, Barth argues that we're going to empower the reader to come up with all of these new meanings, and of course, that is a little hypocritical, because every specific reader is going to limit the possible texts in a similar way that an author might. So, how are we supposed to view authorship? People like Barth says that authorial intent just doesn't matter, and other people will only look at context and what the author has said about a text to create meaning. I think it is somewhere in the middle. You don't need to know who the author is or what the author intended to come up with your own readings of a particular story. Every time we read a story or participate in a news story, we are coming up with our own readings of the text. However, if we do take into account context and authorial intent, we can come up with new meanings. So I think we should be looking at it through both lenses. We need to take into account things that might be working in a text that the author didn't intend for it to happen, but also things that maybe the author wanted us to see. This can often come in the form of author notes at the beginning. An author might write a few pages about what they were trying to create with this particular story. And that can be valuable. It can send us in specific ways, and we can get new meanings out of a text. But also by ignoring what they were looking for, we can see the actual things that are there and come up with our own perspectives and our own unique viewpoints on that text. I don't think we should be discrediting the people who look at authorship in different ways. If someone finds value through a text by learning about the author's life and their backstory to create meanings for the stories they have told, that's fine. That's a great way to read a text. But if someone wants to look at a text in a different way and look at it without any prior knowledge of the circumstances that that text was made, that is also okay. We need to be focusing on our historical moment and understanding that how we read a text can change throughout the years and where we're trapped right now. The more we talk about authorship in different ways, the more we can expand the kind of dialogue we have about stories. And of course, dialogue around stories will always pertain to the quality of stories that are being told. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any of your own viewpoints on authorship, how to view authorship, please put it down below. I'd love to start a conversation. That's what this is all about. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next video.